What's up everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome to my mess of a room. I have a very cool unboxing for you today. 𝗦𝗡 by Solar Guitars. They sent me one. Is this the ultimate budget guitar for metal?
Or
here's a nice piece of shit.
I have no idea. Let's open this guy up and find out. By the way, if you see me talking this very threateningly with a knife, that's not nice. You shouldn't do that to your friends. I'm talking to my patrons and members up here who get early access to stuff like this because they support over on Patreon or in the YouTube members. So if you're interested in joining the YouTube members, there's a little join button down there. You can click that, or you can go over to Patreon, sign up for Patreon. It's the same benefits, just different delivery systems. You get the same behind the scenes content. You get the same access to the private section of my Discord server. I'll leave a link down in the description below. So I don't know, this one was sent to me from Spain, but I believe the idea behind this is that they will have distributors in different markets, so that way you don't have to pay import, because it wouldn't make sense to pay, you know, import duties on a budget shredder guitar, right? It's like, why would I do that? And it's more money than, wow, these things are like stapled together, Jesus Christ. All right, there's a gig bag. I don't know if all of these come with a gig bag, so Daryl, maybe you could put on screen if these come with a gig bag or not. All right, comes with a guitar cable. There you go. And moment of truth. Look at that, dude. Look at that. That is a pretty guitar. Let's read the specs. This is the EB4.6C Carbon Black Matte. It retails for $299 US through the 𝗦𝗡 by Solar website. It features black hardware, closed black unbranded machine heads. It is a 24.75 inch scale. The neck shape is listed as C Solar, so I will compare this to my other Solar guitars and see how close the profiles are. The neck material is maple. It has a PPS nut. I don't know what that is, some kind of plastic. It is a bolt-on neck. It has a standard truss rod. The fretboard material is black teakwood. Now, if you're asking yourself, what the fuck is teakwood? If you want to read more about teakwood, you can go to knoll.com. They have all this information there. Teakwood is a blend of 𝗦𝗡𝗘𝗏 and poplar trees and processed into a high quality veneer. It is of medium density and hardness, but once manufactured, the finished product compares really well with cherry or walnut. It is also plentiful, especially compared to some other wood species. So essentially teakwood is this blend of woods and probably some sort of like epoxy to make a wood type product, which claims to be environmentally more friendly, but more likely it's on this guitar just because it's cheaper to produce. It has a 14-inch fretboard radius. There are mini dot markers, white mini dot markers to be specific. There are 22 standard nickel frets. Now those are all quite a bit different from the other Solar line of guitars. You know, usually you have 24 jumbo stainless steel frets, but these are 22 standard nickel frets. The body thickness is 45 millimeters. The body material type is poplar. It is a string through body with two-pneumatic bridge. The pickups are listed as custom high output ceramic. There is no branding on these pickups. They aren't Seymour Duncans or anything like that, but they are passive pickups with pickup rings. I know that bothers some people. I don't really mind it that much. We have a 500K volume pot and a 500K tone pot, a black three-way toggle switch, and it does include a gig bag for that $299 price point. So my first impressions of this guitar are, it's pretty nice. I mean, these are meant to be like ultra budget guitars. Well, this passed someone's QC, but they didn't put their signature on it. It just says QC passed. So I don't have like extremely high expectations for this, considering the price range, but there are some things like a budget guitar still needs to do, even though you're paying less for it. Like it has to stay in tune, has to sound decent, has to be playable. You know, these are all like important things. And right away, my first impressions are, the fretwork is pretty decent. Not quite on par, obviously, with the other Solars, but it's like not sharp or anything. There's no weird burrs. Everything feels all right. There's definitely a noticeable difference with these frets compared to like stainless steel frets, but that's expected. You know, stainless steel frets are like a premium feature. They're starting to become more of a common feature, but they are kind of still like a premium feature at this point. The nut seems fine. Everything seems straight, like nothing's weird. There's nothing striking me as like wrong, you know, but that's an important thing because like when you're mass producing something at a super low cost, you know, those are the things like you kind of have to keep an eye out for, right? Like how closely are we paying attention to the quality control on these? But so far everything seems really nice. Now, this is a total personal pet peeve of mine, drives me crazy, but I sort of hate it when you have a painted neck bolted onto a painted body to like match. For some reason, to me, that just screams tacky. Like I just don't like that. I think it would be nicer if these were natural necks, but you know, I'm sure there's a reason for that. I mean, maybe I am the minority there. Definitely let me know in the comments if you think I'm being ridiculous. But yeah, that's just something that bugs me. But you know, I mean, I can look past it. It's a very cool looking guitar. Okay, so enough talking about it. Let me clean up this mess of shit here and then we'll plug it into something and see how it sounds. Okay, so I have this EB4.6 whatever numbers, plugged into this PRS Archon 50. Now I know, I want to address something here. A lot of people get mad, you know, when you demo a budget guitar through like not budget gear, which is really weird to me, right? Because it's like, this is the beginning of the signal chain. If this sucked, there's no way that anything after it is going to magically fix it. That's not the way signal chains work. But for those of you that conform to this logic, I will plug it into a free plugin here in a second, so that way you can hear it through something that you might be a little bit more familiar with. This is the way I like to demo things. I like to plug into an actual amp and move some air. I picked the PRS Archon for no specific reason. I just want to get some time in with this amp so I can demo it in the future. Kind of killing two birds with one stone right now. This is what it sounds like. Okay, I have not done anything to this guitar. I've not set it up. I tuned it a little bit. Surprisingly, it came to me in tune more or less, and then I dropped the tuning because Satan. But I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with how it plays and what it sounds like for $299. Now, I do not have nothing but good things to say about this guitar. We'll get into some other things here in a minute with my experience, but let me show you some clean sounds, because people like to hear the clean sounds so they can hear the transparent sound of the pickup, right? They're pretty dynamic, you know? Let's go to the neck pickup. Go back to the lead channel here. Now, to be totally fair here, I need to compare this to other like extreme budget guitars that I've tried. I have one of which over here. I will open that up in just 1 second. I think it's pretty on par with like the JS series from Jackson or something like that, or even like the Geo series from Ibanez. All of these guitars sort of like have their quirks that come from mass manufacturing, and the S by Solar isn't really that much different in my experience. Now, they did send me this guitar. I didn't pay for it. This came from Spain. I don't know if the guitars that they're shipping out to consumers are coming from Spain or not, or where they're being distributed from, but I believe the whole idea behind S by Solar and it being an ultra budget brand is that they can distribute without having like the import duties and stuff like that. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the whole idea here. Now, with all of that being said, I have no idea. Maybe it's the luck of the draw. Maybe I just got a really good one, but there don't seem to be a ton of defects that I noticed. The input jack is like slightly scuffed up and bent a little bit, but you know, it's pretty fine. I mean, it's not uncommon for something in this price range. I did have some spots of like glue on the guitar. It's like not a ding, it's like some bullshit. Nothing major, nothing that affects playability. There's a little spot of glue right here, like on the 9th fret. There was one on the back of the neck when I opened it up. You can still see it a little bit, but I mostly wiped it off. Little piece of glue on the body. Just some things that kind of come with the territory of mass production in my experience. Now, with that being said, I think as far as like the median for mass-produced guitars, I think this is pretty good for that. I think it actually is above the median, like if I'm being honest. What I mean by that is I think it's pretty good compared to other guitars produced in the same price range. Let's look at another one that I have. This is a Donner guitar. This is the DMT100, I believe. And it very similar guitar. Like, I would not be surprised if these guitars were produced in the same factory, because they share a lot of similarities, like a lot of similarities, like in the construction, like the nut type, the finish on it, the frets, the way the frets are set, these little string through sleeves, the bolts that go on and bolt the neck. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if those guitars were produced in the same factory. But then again, you know, these are cheap parts and they're probably on all mass-produced guitars, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Just don't take my word for it. But anyways, this is the Donner guitar. This was a really popular guitar on my channel. Like, a lot of people were really interested in it because it's so cheap. I think this comes in at $199 on Amazon. So the shape of this guitar is quite a bit different than the EB I was playing earlier, so that's definitely gonna affect the price as well. These aren't like a direct comparison, but I just wanted to bring this out as an example. This is what this guitar sounds like through the same setup with the same settings and everything. You can already tell the pickups are quite a bit noisier. These pickups are way more microphonic than the pickups in the Solar. This guitar neck is a little bit chunkier too, but if you like the aesthetic of a Donner. If you like the aesthetic of a Donner guitar versus a Solar guitar, you know, these are very similar in a lot of other ways. But myself, I would probably prefer the Solar guitar, although these guitars are not aimed at me as a guitar player. They're aimed at like beginners. Let me swap this out for another guitar here. This is my Solar V1.6 FRC. I wanted to get this out so that I can get a feel for the neck profile and kind of compare that to the EB that I have over there. Okay, let's go back to the EB S by Solar guitar. Now I'm not really noticing much string noise on here, but I have one of these little Solar string dampener things. Let's just put this up here. Why not, you know? So after real quick examination going back and forth, this guitar plays much better than the Donner guitar. I didn't set this up at all. I didn't set up the Donner guitar at all. I kind of want like a realistic perspective on what these things are gonna show up like when you get it into the hands of a beginner, you know what I mean? And so for that reason, I didn't set them up. And this guitar plays much better. The neck is thinner. The neck profile is very similar to the Solar guitars. I don't know if it's exact. It's really difficult to tell because the fret sizes are different. This has medium frets and my Solar guitar has jumbo frets, so it's a little bit of a difference, and it kind of makes it hard to tell like if the neck profile is a little bit chunkier on this guitar, but it feels a little bit chunkier, and that might just be because like, you know, you kind of have to press a little bit more on the strings to get them to fret. But it plays very nice. I mean, to be honest with you, comparing it to the Donner guitar, it plays much nicer than that guitar. Now, would I buy one of these guitars? Yeah, it kind of depends. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think that, let me look at it this way. If I was gonna buy one of these guitars, it would probably be for like one of my kids to see if they were interested in playing guitar, so that way I don't have to spend too much money. I mean, not my kids, because I would just give them a guitar. I'm not a terrible person. But like, you know, if I was a parent and I wanted to buy a guitar for my kid to, you know, see if they're interested in playing guitar, but I don't want to spend a bunch of money, I think this is a good way to go. I think that the main thing that this has going for it is its aesthetics. There aren't many ultra budget guitars. I mean, maybe like the JS line from Jackson or something like that. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But there aren't like, you know, a ton of extreme shaped budget guitars, and these ones are pretty sweet. They also have one of their Tele models. They also have an A series with the Floyd Rose on it. So I think those are all really big wins. The things that bother me about this guitar are also kind of aesthetic a little bit. Let me explain. The neck being painted the same color as the body, but being bolt-on, like that's just a personal pet peeve of mine that bothers me. I know I'm probably like in a small group of people that bothers, but it does bother me. The heel on this is pretty chunky. Now, it doesn't get in the way when I'm playing at all, but it is a really chunky heel. The saving grace on it is that it's actually like carved out a little bit right here, so you have access to the upper frets. But definitely like when you get up there, like if you can see this, you know, like if you're used to a set neck, you're definitely gonna notice that. So for me, those are my main issues with it, but that's totally subjective. That's just like me as a guitar player. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any like technical issues that I'm having with this guitar. It plays good, it stays in tune, it sounds good. The pickups are much quieter than the other budget guitar that I just tried, you know, the Donner. You know, they're not like loud and squealy. This is what the guitar sounds like through the Amped Roots plugin, which is a free plugin. You can download it for free. Okay, Okay, so I'm really curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the S by Solar guitars. Are you interested in these? Are they the ultimate budget shredder, or is this just kind of like devaluing the Solar brand? Definitely let me know what you think down in the comments. Special thanks to Solar Guitars for making this happen. Special thanks to you for being here with me. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.